we sat down in our seats and he looked at me and he goes, I never thought I'd be here. I'm gonna cry. We can't talk about it anymore, but it was so wonderful. Welcome to Time Wasting. This episode is presented by Amazon Prime. I'm Kelley O'Hara.
I'm Riley.
Follow us on social media at Time Wasting Pod. That's @ symbol, like Allie learned last week or the week before.
Called an @ symbol.
@ symbol.
Everybody.
Time Wasting Pod. And subscribe to Just Women Sports on YouTube or find us wherever you listen to your podcasts. New episodes drop every Tuesday. And that's the
That's all you got to
do. And Allie, now you have to do the coming up on this episode.
Yes.
Tell the people.
Not in an accent this time, thank goodness.
What do we got coming up?
Coming up, we'll get into all the biggest news from a wild weekend of games. It was rivalry weekend, everybody. Who delivered the biggest moment of the weekend? I cannot wait to get your opinion on this competition we have going on the East Coast. We're going to get deep into the mental game of not football, but sideline reporting and broadcasting.
Our new game.
And we'll get to highlight some of our favorite family moments, things that we actually get to do now that we have some time to waste, including someone took their Poppi on a surprise trip to Wimbledon. Can't wait to get into that. But first, Kelley, you knew this was coming.
I did.
But we saw news about the men's and women's U.S. national teams splitting the World Cup prize money.
Correct. Yes. So it is funny because people are like, news, headline, breaking.
Yeah.
And it's like,
this is what you fought for all those years ago.
Right. And it's like, this actually was in place the last World Cup cycle that happened, men's and women's. But it is an interesting thing to highlight because, you know, a lot of people are new to the game. This might be the first time they're watching the men's World Cup because it's in the US this time.
Yeah.
And the news, the breaking news is that the men's and women, US men's and women, they split the money that they make from FIFA bonus of however far they go in the tournament. So the men made it to the round of 16 per FIFA. The rules, they are making 16 million from making it that far. And that 16 million, 80% goes to the players, 20% goes to the federation, which I actually think was great that we got to that place with the federation.
Yes.
So that money doesn't get paid out yet because it's based on the two rosters of the two World Cups, right? 26 men were on this World Cup roster for the men's team. Next summer, it'll be 23 unless FIFA changes it to 26 for the women. So the money will be split between those two rosters. We don't know who's on the women's roster yet, so we have to wait and see. But then however far the women go and whatever FIFA prize money is associated with how far they go, that will be put into the pool and then it'll be split evenly amongst the two rosters, which was a huge, huge win in the CBA that we signed. And we worked really, really hard on getting that over the line. And I think it's a great model. And it's a model I think that should be reflected until maybe forever, but until FIFA gives equal prize money to men and women for going as far as they go in the tournament. So we'll see if and when that happens. Apparently there's been reporting that FIFA will be having equal prize money for the women in 2027. That was, I think, out there, Allie, somewhere. We both have read that.
That was a commitment, I would like to call it, from Gianni Infantino ahead of the 2023 World Cup. I was on the, oh my gosh, now I'm trying to think what we were called. It's part of FIFA Pro. It is an organization, an advisory board, if you will, of players. Global ambassadors.
And FIFA Pro is the players association essentially for the international game.
The Global Players Union. And we know how important players unions, players associations are. We're looking at in the NWSL, the WNBA. That changed women's sports, what the WNBA did. What the U.S. Women's National Team PA did, changed women's sports globally. And this is the association, the union for all players around the world globally to come together to be part of conversations. There have been lawsuits, there's so much support, resources by lawyers and so many people in this organization. They're in Amsterdam. And I've had friends who have worked with FIFPro to make sure that they are treated in the way they should when their clubs or national teams have not followed the rules according to their contracts. Not every player is going to be supported by their league. A lot of leagues don't have a players association. A lot of federations don't have a players association. So this is so important. And in the conversations that we were having, a lot of us captains were part of this ahead of 2023 in New Zealand and Australia, were around conditions, around hotel rooms. You'll remember, yes, the US has been ahead of the game in a lot of this and being able to privately support their players and provide resources. But it was a big deal in 23 that we were able to have single occupancy rooms. That was the first time I had my own room for the New Zealand national team. You had to fly business or first class, and we also had the hubs. So that makes a lot of sense now as we've had the Men's World Cup all across these countries that, yeah, they're going to be flying private, charter, first class, whatever you want to call it, in between locations. We had never had that as a mandatory situation for a Women's World Cup. There were a lot of things around how big the delegation could be, and part of some of the concessions that were made or things we weren't able to get across the line were in, I don't want to say exchange, but it came with a promise that equal prize money, because that is kind of the number one thing that comes up. It's the same when we talk about the women's game and parity. We often talk about pay. And so that prize money, we got there was conversation about that prize money becoming equal in 27, but we haven't heard anything since.
Well, if that ends up being the case, the U.S. men will be very excited about that because
the U.S. women win.
I have a feeling, yes, the U.S. women might be bringing in more money than the men, but we'll see what happens. But it is a great achievement that we were able to do with that CBA, and I'm really proud to have been a part of that. And speaking of paying up, you got a bet to pay up. So you lost.
I lost.
Orlando versus Kansas City, which you know what I forgot when I gave you the choice. You took Kansas City, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I, surprise, forgot that you played for Orlando. So why didn't you choose Orlando?
So
you just felt like Kansas City had the momentum, or what?
I had seen Orlando's performance the week before. I also put myself in a kind of win-win situation here because I'm an Orlando Pride fan. And so if I won the bet, if Kansas City won, I would win the bet. If Orlando lost, my former team. So I cheer for my former team unless they're playing my former team. If you can stay with me here. And I also I was hopeful that Barbara Banda would be playing, but I wasn't sure. But I was a bit relieved, I will say, because I think it was a third win, a win-win-win when we were told what the payout would be. And I'm still hoping you will share some of your funny stories or one of yours, because I can't completely answer this question, which was from Rose Zay.
Yeah, so the bet, the loser payout has to answer a fan question, and the fan question was...
Was there ever a time when a team bonding game got too competitive and caused real arguments? And it was so funny because we already started sharing stories and kind of maybe thought Kelly might lose. So we had some suggestions of stories. But I was prepared with a story. And before I kind of get into the analysis of the game, I want to share, this isn't about anything that caused an argument, but my mind went right to when we went paintballing in preseason with Chelsea.
Okay.
So this was 2018. And I sent...
That's a choice of an activity and to go paintballing, because paintballing can be dangerous in a way. It's like, getting hit is painful. I did try many times to get teams that I was on to go paintballing because it's really fun. But I obviously never got a team to go because I think people were like, absolutely not. We're not paying for that. Yeah. But y'all did.
This is far enough away from the start of season, and everybody was, from what I remember, excited. And we had the course to ourselves. So it was really just that every what do you call it? Not stage. Every camp or area was just us split into 2 teams.
Okay.
So this place was awesome. There were helicopters and kind of, it really felt like a camp. Base
on
camp.
the ground.
Yes,
on the ground. Okay.
And so you could take photos. We all were completely decked out in the outfits and the helmets. This part we got the biggest kick out of, I feel like.
The outfits?
Yes, and just getting all geared up before you actually had to run around and potentially get shot. So everyone is like taking photos, and one of my teammates, she purchased extra like smoke grenades in different colors. There were all these accessories you could get. So I had never seen that before. I had only kind of been outfitted
Top of
with
the line paintball course.
Exactly. So Ramona Bachman was one person who bought everything. So she had like all these things clipped onto her belt. I didn't see her for 3 hours. She hid behind a bush.
You're joking.
For the entire time. So when we finished,
use any of it?
When we finished, she still had them.
Oh
so
my.
we just like went and like threw them. What? No, she didn't do anything. And I'm pretty sure she was on my team. So did not contribute. I've laughed about this for so many years. But before we started any of these games, we were lined up in 2 rows. And the guy from the paintballing place was standing in front of us, and he was holding the gun, and we're all standing there getting ready to go. And he's holding the gun down, and he goes, all right, so I'm going to teach you how to use the gun. So right here, you will see the safety, and you move the safety, and then you hear thump. Ow! What? And we all turn, and Jonna Anderson is grabbing her ass, and it has paint all over it. And directly behind her, Drew Spence is holding her gun, and she had shot her from point blank range, standing behind her as the guy is explaining how to remove the safety, just shot her straight in the ass.
Oh my gosh.
We were crying, and Jonna is the nicest, like most unassuming. It was so funny, and she was standing right in front of her, and she had this big ass bruise on her butt cheek.
Oh my gosh. Were they still friends?
Yes, definitely. But I mean, when I look back at these photos that I dug up, it was such a great team, and we had so much fun.
There you go. That sounds like an epic game of paintball.
It was really fun. So yes, it didn't break into arguments, but someone did get shot before we had even started.
Right? Oh my gosh. That's hilarious. So you didn't really answer the question because there were no arguments except for
I know.
An errant paintball getting shot at somebody's booty.
Yes.
And you don't have any others of team bonding that broke out into arguments.
No, I mean, we'd play charades, and Katie Bowen would always start yelling at us because we weren't good enough actors. But besides that, nothing. What
so
do you?
Good.
I know you don't have to share.
Well, I don't have to share, but what came to mind was the first thing that came to mind specifically around got too competitive and caused real arguments in this question was for a long stretch of time on the national team, we got very into Monopoly Deal.
Oh.
And then also Settlers of Catan. So it was, yeah. And you can imagine you put together a group of women who are very competitive just in general.
Yes.
And you have them playing a card game or a board game, and there were times where I would be like, I don't feel like playing because I don't feel like getting somebody being mad at me or me being mad at somebody else. Like, I'm gonna pass today, you know? So it was we had a lot of fun, but there were definitely times where people left the room mad.
Who is the most competitive?
And honestly, it was if somebody, you know, they felt like they were getting ganged up on by everybody else, right? In terms of like the Monopoly Deal or, you know, Settlers. It was just, it's so funny because, that was my only instance of things got too competitive. And honestly, sometimes I was like, this is more competitive than practice sometimes, guys. Like, what are we doing? You know? But I do love those games, and it is fun, but it did always usually end in somebody being pissed off, going to bed mad, pretty much.
That's how I feel when we play with my family. Lucas
I know,
gets way
same.
too into it. I'm like, I don't want to play cards tonight.
Okay, well, that's the bet payoff. I feel like I paid it off, not you, but it's fine.
It was a good story, right?
It was a great story. Honestly, it sounded epic. And again, very jealous you got to do that. But now we got to talk about the bet match.
Yes,
Which is how
the game
I
itself.
won the bet. Yes. So Orlando, Kansas City.
3-0.
3-0.
This was a statement. It was a very good response after losing to Angel City the week before. Marta scored a goal from distance, which, you love to see it. She's amazing. And she's been involved in so many goals. You think about that run against Seattle from last season when she beats 3 players, but she hasn't scored that many goals. And so for her to be contributing a lot, but then to actually put the ball in the back of the net from distance.
Apparently this is her first goal in the run of play in many months.
Yes, it is. So that would have felt very, very good. And
listen, y'all, don't let Marta get going. All right.
Yeah.
You're going to regret that.
Don't make her mad. Don't make her mad. I think she appeared on the ref cam a couple times against Angel City, and that just fuels the beast. That was the first goal. And the third goal was, I am firmly on that bandwagon. And I'm not going to put thoughts into players' heads. I'm not going to take credit away from the players who were on the field before Banda came in, because she did not start. But I would feel as a player, just knowing that a player of that caliber was available again,
sitting on the bench, waiting to check in. Yeah.
That would give me so much confidence. It would give me a boost. And that's how good I think that player is. But I wanted to ask you, Professor O'Hara, about goal number 2. This was a set piece goal.
Yeah, it came off a corner for Orlando. Anderson scored at the back post. And you texted me being like, that corner kick was bad defending. And I went and watched it back a couple times, and it was really bad defending. So you see Kansas City, they're set up zonally, most of their team, but then they have about 3 players back post, because Orlando puts most of their runners back post, which happens all the time. However, the way that Kansas City, the players who were the marking players, it's typically what you call them, were set up to mark the Pride players was bad. I think Lowe had her back turned to the ball. Rodriguez she lost her mark. Every single player that was back post for Kansas City that was supposed to be a marking player lost their mark. And Anderson comes through, ends up scoring the goal because she was supposed to be marked and got free. So to me, I'm like, Kansas City, the structure, sure, that works, but the marking, we got to be more aggressive, and you have to be touch tight. You can't be back to the, where the ball's coming from and looking at your player, because you have no idea where the ball's at, the flight of the ball, any of that. And you could tell that that's what happened, because as it came in and they turned, ball comes in and Anderson has basically a free header on the back post. So not great, Kansas City. We're going to have to work on that. Let's get back to the training pitch on that one. And I want to see a little bit more aggression. Like, come on, guys. We got to, that seems like an easy thing to fix, and something that should already be happening, or shouldn't be happening, if you want to put it that way, in terms of bad marking.
Yeah, and I had done Sideline the week before when Orlando was at Angel City, and Seb Hines had spoken ahead of the game about Orlando's set pieces and how he wanted the players to be more commanding in those moments. And again, the Kansas City players look a bit like statues here, but I have a soft spot for Orlando. So it's always now, when we're on the outside, it is cool when you hear that there is an emphasis on something, the players then are rewarded with doing it well. And
comes through.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that was really good to see.
And taking nothing away from Anderson, great goal.
Yeah.
Way to finish and get in a spot that was dangerous.
And okay, so yes, so I lost.
So I won the bet.
Kelly is
not us saying that at the same time.
creeping up.
I am. I'm closing.
Creeping up.
Closing
There's
the
like
gap.
no gap now.
Listen, the NWSL season is long, okay?
It is.
This is a marathon, not a sprint.
It is.
Right?
Oh, and we are going to get, do not fear, we are going to get
yes.
a recap, a video, an edit of.
I did the Bean Boozle.
Just tell us if you got Bean Boozled at least once.
I got Bean Boozled at least once.
I got Bean Boozled.
I got Bean Boozled. I'm going to get Bean Boozled. This one looks yummy. Okay. Yummy. This looks like it might be spicy. Also yummy. Pomegranate. Could have been Old Bandage. We're on a roll. I feel like the next ones aren't going to be kind to me. That looks bad. This one looks bad. That's really bad. I think it was wet dog. Oh my god, I think it's dead fish. Oh my god. Dead fish.
I'm not going to go through a whole ECYMI. We have a lot to talk about this. Oh my gosh, why do I always read that as Swedish? That's so weird.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
ICYMI.
Yes, but let's talk about two matches. Angel City
Yes.
and Gotham versus Utah.
So, Angel City beats Orlando, who doesn't have Barbara Banda. It felt like a good performance, but you're like, okay, going into a really big test away at San Diego, our huge rivals.
Rivalry match.
Big rivalry match, and
the SoCal Showdown. Is that what they call it?
yes.
Shootout?
Yes, there are a lot of names that have been floated around, but
Cool.
most importantly, Angel City won. Angelina Anderson, a rock. She did so well. She saved a penalty. The penalty went off the post and then grazed her boot and did not get redirected into the goal, but went out the other side. So I saw some fun comments on her social media post, including one of my own around her peach and how she made a penalty save with her butt. We saw an assist from Svendis, her long throw, which has been so dangerous. And I feel like maybe it's getting longer, but it is like a set piece. It is a set piece, but it's like a corner kick because of how far she can throw it. And and the assist off the long throw, that again must be so rewarding because she has taken a lot of throws. And I feel like there was one goal where she threw it in, it went back, and then to her again, and then she scored. So kind of an assist to herself, but this was actually kind of true coming in, and Angel City got the goal. But I want to just briefly emphasize how important this Ali Sentnor signing was, because no, once again, she did not score, but she was the one who forced the turnover from Kenza Dali that led to Endo's assist. And she also, in the 90th minute, she is back in her own box, making a huge, huge defensive tackle. So this is just someone who Angel City fans, I'm sure they can feel it, but you're kind of wondering why, yeah, there's been this boost, but she's not scoring goals. It's because of the work she's doing, both in possession and out of possession. And I'm really, really excited about her.
Congrats.
Yeah, thank you.
I'm really happy for you. Angel City won, but you're wearing a Japan jersey.
Yes, I am. We don't have any medical information to release here, obviously, but seeing June Endo go down holding her knee, I really wanted to just put some extra love and thought and prayers into the universe for her. You never want to see it. And June, who just came back from ACL on her other side, hard to talk about, but thinking of you, June, love you so much.
Hoping for the best.
Yeah, you're in our hearts.
Well, listen, I feel like I really jinxed myself when I said that's something you don't need to worry about, because they've now won 2 games in a row. So
yes, I know.
Post coaching change. So
yes,
yeah, things are getting stirred up in LA, but maybe for the better.
And they're flying over to Chicago for the next game, which at this point
we don't want to make assumptions, but
they should win. I will say
they should win. Absolutely. You can say that.
They should win.
You can definitely
keep it going. But I kind of I want to talk to you about Gotham, Kelly.
Yeah. They went on a road trip.
Yes.
San Diego lost. That was tough. Got celebrated on. And then went to Utah, and I was a little concerned because Utah's obviously been looking
right.
very
Felt
good,
like top of
very
the
strong.
table-ish clash,
And playing at home. I think Utah does very well at home and has the advantage of, being in altitude 24/7. But Gotham showed up and got that dub with an Esther brace.
A brace. 2 goals, Cal. And
Goals.
I've been wanting to ask you about this, and now feels like the perfect time because
It does, doesn't it?
Sam Kerr signed with Gotham. We've talked about that a lot. Sam traveled to Utah, which was really cool to see. That means she did training in the day before. She's in with the team. It means her debut.
I was a little annoyed because I wanted to hang out with her here, but it's
Kelly hates when her friends play away.
I do. I'm like, guys.
And
Play with me.
so she was watching from the stands.
Mm-hmm.
They're competing for a spot, aren't they, Kel? What am I
would assume, however, Esther can play the 10, but then you have Rose in the 10. And so it really is, it's starting to become like, if everyone's healthy on Gotham, specifically with this Sam Kerr signing, it's going to be a question of who do you put and where do you put them, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think Juan will want to put his strongest players on the field, but what is the formation? What is the combination? Where is the best spot for everyone? And that's why I'm not a coach. I don't have to make those decisions. But you would think that, yes, I mean, Sam Kerr is a 9. That's her best position. Yep. Esther, she can play 9. She can also play 10. But Rose is there. So right now, I will be interested to see this game go down on Wednesday night, Citi Field. That's when Sam is reported to be making her Gotham debut, which will be very exciting. A huge night for Gotham, for women's football, having this game.
Queen's Classic.
It's gonna be fun because we saw last year when Bay FC played in whatever that stadium's called, the baseball stadium in San Francisco.
Yes.
The games in the baseball stadiums get a ton of people. It's very fun. It's interesting. It's different. And Gotham just announced that they're going to be moving the stadium, or they're, where they're playing, from New Jersey, Sports Illustrated Stadium, over to the stadium that will be built in New York. I don't know what it's called.
Etihad. Yes. We'll
there
see.
you
Have
go.
another Etihad.
That, yeah. So it will be very close to Citi Field where they're playing this game. And it's against DC, Washington Spirit, which I think Gotham Spirit is always such an exciting matchup. So I cannot wait. We will see Sam Kerr hopefully make her debut. We'll find out, is she playing the 9? Where's she playing? Where's Esther playing? Where's everybody playing? What lineup is Juan going to go with? That remains to be seen, but it is very exciting. And I'm going to obviously keep my eyeballs glued to what's going down.
Yeah. And this is, we've talked about the puzzle pieces and how when you are in this league, there are restrictions and you're fitting together these players and these salaries. And we have teams, I'm sure you listeners have a couple teams in mind when I say this, who are lacking some talent, maybe, who need a boost, who could still sign someone who could help their team this transfer window. Then you have a team that seemingly has too many good players, and that also poses a challenge. And it also is something for the coach, maybe not the GM to figure out anymore, although if top players aren't playing, then you also can start getting some unrest, just kind of going the other way. So these are all things that we will see unfold.
I know that Gotham is trying to build a team that will be robust enough to withstand and sustain success week in and week out throughout very long seasons in the NWSL, and also playing these outside competitions like the Champions Cup, like the Club World Cup that will be around in 2028. So there, as much as there is a added pressure and maybe stress around, we have a roster full of 20 plus players who all could be starters here and elsewhere. It's then about the management of players and making it truly feel like this is a team where we rotate and, everybody is valuable and plays their role when they are called upon. And that to me is the way that you build the most successful team and club. But we'll see if it's possible. And that really has to do with the management of players being bought into that strategy and way of setting up the team.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
Exactly. And it's still kind of a rumor, but a report right now, but I have to throw it in here.
I know. I'm like, where are you getting this stuff?
Denise O'Sullivan, NWSL legend, is leaving Liverpool and is rumored to be going on loan with Gotham. So it's just a rumor right now, but since it is in the news, we're putting it out there because holy moly, we're not going to talk about that. But I want to hear more. I want to hear more about Esther.
Yes.
And this performance, especially with probably a little pressure. Right now, Sam, we're not expecting 90-minute games back to back to back. So there could be a little flexibility here. I would expect to see Esther start.
There could be Gotham playing double 9. I've never seen that before from them. I would love to see that. I would love to see a different formation from Gotham.
Wednesday, like, get ready. Or in the future, Wednesday, we don't know how many minutes she can play. Kelly probably does, but she's not allowed to say.
Listen, a 3-5-2 from Gotham is, I think, I would love to see that. And now they have the players to do that. Think about it.
Professor O'Hara, always one step ahead.
I'm just saying. That could be their ideal lineup that they've been waiting and needing the right final puzzle piece to play.
Let's see what happens.
We will, Allie. But yes, let's talk about Esther.
Yes. Because
now
it's time for today's segment, Delivered by Prime. And our Delivered by Prime player is Esther because her presence was so impactful. Kel, let's talk about specifically in this game and these goals.
Well, one, she steps up, takes a PK, buries it, and that's just who she is as a player. If I'm on the field with her and we get a PK called, I am trusting that she is going to make that. She is confident, she is calm, she is experienced. That's what she does, and that's what she did. And then obviously her second goal, she basically ends up, it's not a 1v1 with the keeper because she has pressure on her back, but she is able to cut the keeper and slot it home. Again, confident, calm, all the things that you want with your 9. And just her timing of her run, everything, the touch, the body positioning to be able to get the ball, cut out the defender, miss the keeper, and play it in the back of the net. It's what she does best. That's Esther.
It was a beauty, and it might be my assist of the season so far from Szupanski, this pass. But the run dictates the pass, and to have Esther have the understanding to break through, and like you said, the finish, the composure, because there's a miscommunication with the center back and the goalkeeper, but to still have a retreating defender, to have the goalkeeper coming out at you, I think she does a really good job to finish that. But that curling ball in behind, wow.
Very nice. And listen, just like you can count on Esther to deliver in the biggest moments, you can count on Prime to deliver on time right when you need it.
Say yes to every watch party, every meetup, every pickup game. Same-day delivery with Prime helps you get ready for whatever comes your way.
Same-day delivery, it's on Prime, available in select areas. Terms apply. Visit Amazon.com/Prime to find millions of items delivered fast.
We are here picking our Delivered by Prime player. We're shouting out games and performances, but if we miss someone and you want to give someone their flowers, please hit us in the comments on YouTube, on socials. There were a lot of performances and firsts to celebrate this weekend, but we only have so much time here to waste. So
we really do. We really do. We only have so much time to waste because we're busy girls.
We want to hear it all. We read everything, and we really appreciate all the listens and all the engagement. So let us know who stood out to you.
Those moments where a random idea suddenly becomes the plan for the night? That's where Amazon Prime comes in.
Maybe someone texts about a last-minute watch party for NWSL Prime Friday nights. Or you decide the big match deserves a proper tailgate, snacks, yard games, the whole thing. Suddenly, the plan is on.
That's what's great about Prime. When the moment shows up, you can say yes before it slips away.
Same-day delivery. It's on Prime.
Visit Amazon.com/Prime to find millions of items delivered fast.
Available in select areas. Terms apply.
And now we got to talk about the new game that we're playing, Allie.
Yes.
We're no longer on the inside of the white lines. We are on the outside of the white lines. And you specifically are on the sideline.
I'm on the white line.
You are on the white line. And there was a photo that went out on social media. And it's you doing sideline reporting for the Amazon Prime game.
Looking staunch.
And you freaking look, you are holding this microphone like it is your last lollipop that you have of your, I don't even know, left in the world, right?
Gripping this mic.
And the way you're standing, it's like attention, basically. And your
clenching.
brow is a little furrowed and you are focused, my girl. So we got to talk a little bit about the game that we are now playing, which is the reporting game, the broadcast game. And talk to me about this photo. Because
yes, I want to shout out.
What was going through your mind?
I want to shout out Jim Sabo for taking this photo and sending it to me, and also he did a beautiful collection of photos for my retirement game, and I just appreciate that so much. You know, I didn't have to pay for these photos, and this is such a special moment. There's photos of me and you, Kel, and me and my parents, and Lucas, Alyssa, and. Sent me just 150 photos. And then this photo came into my life. And it was funny because he puts here, what's Allie thinking? Wrong answers only. And it's so funny because people's responses, I'm like, that is what I'm thinking. Exactly what I'm thinking. I wonder if my dad will ever stop wearing shoes in the house. I think about that every day, all day, every day. DoorDash sounds good right now. I was starving. You can't eat or drink too much. I can't leave.
That's true.
I can't leave the sideline.
It's so true. Oh my gosh. It's so true.
I get so hungry. I'm thirsty, but you can't go to the bathroom. This was, did I apply deodorant? That's a comment. Even in studio, we're kind of like, shoot, and you're putting all this stuff on. You got a mic down.
Listen, even if I did apply, do I need to reapply?
Thank you. Exactly. I knew you would get it. And I chose to, it was like 100 degrees. I chose to wear this like lace number and these black jeans.
Yeah, I was wondering how we came to that decision.
So hot. And it's all tucked in. And I'm like, if I do need to apply deodorant, how am I even?
Yeah, you're not. There's no,
I went with the button all the way up, like trying to look really profesh.
Yeah. I do think you look great. I just want to say I love the fit. However, it is giving very hot.
I was doing the most.
In the literal sense of temperature.
Yeah, it was. And this is
also
the Prime
hot,
polo. Thank you. This is the official Prime polo.
I know.
So I did want to zhuzh it up a little bit.
You look very, very official, very professional. You look like you're taking your job very seriously, which you do.
I was. Hope they don't ask me to be coach. 100%. Put me in coach. Also, 100%. So yeah, it was just so funny. I need a bathroom. 100%. So it was just really funny that everyone's wrong answers only were so accurate.
Your face is so good. Yes. I love a wrong answer only, but then it's like, that is what's going through my mind.
You guys know me so well, but obviously don't know me so well if you think that's not what I'm thinking. But yeah, to do sideline, I have learned that takes the most concentration, and you're alone, and there's so much happening around you. So you can see he's in charge of the refs, who's behind me, scratching his forehead. You have obviously this throw-in going on right in front of me. The whole medical team is at a table right on the side of here. You have some fans can line up right behind there as they go into their seats that are closer to the field. And then you have the benches on either side. And then you have this woman in a hat. She's in charge of the audio. So she goes back and forth in front of me with this long ass cable. And every time I almost trip over the cable, and we kept being like, oh, sorry, like over and over and over again. All the while you're watching the game, and I am so lucky because Prime wants me on not to just give a comment on what I'm hearing from the coaches or to do a halftime or post-game interview, but they really want me as a second analyst. So Jill Lloyd and I are doing the color while Mike Watts is doing the play-by-play.
Right.
So I'm standing there with all this going on, and they can go to me at any time, and my mic is open.
That's
so
tough.
At any time I am able to join the conversation, give a thought. They could, I'm watching a play, something's happened, and they could send down to me and ask me a question, and you got to be ready.
Right.
All while you're trying to analyze this game from the level is a little bit tough for a tactical view. So
yeah, for sure.
It was one of the biggest challenges I've had in broadcasting, and I loved it. But that is why I look very, very focused.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you are. You're locked in, which you have to be. But you do such a good job. And I did want to ask, because you've now done Sideline, in-game commentary, so color, and then also been a desk analyst in studio, which is like pre, half, and post. And I've only ever done pre, half, and post desk analyst, except for I guess Victory Plus. We did like
and alt cast.
Yes, an alt cast, which is I guess giving a little play-by-play, a little color.
Yeah, we did it all.
But it's more fun and like a relaxed environment, if you will.
Yes.
So for you would say Sideline's the hardest, because I'm curious which one you think is the most difficult.
Yeah, I think it is the most challenging because it's almost all of the things put together. And the commentary, you're not on camera for the entire, because you're watching the game.
Mm-hmm.
And
you can have all your notes in front of you.
Yes, and
everything.
You can't have notes here.
You can only have the ones you have in your hand.
Yeah, I think that's the roster.
Right.
So I didn't have any notes, but I had taken so many notes. And so I feel like I want to try to memorize things. And especially since I got to interview Seb and Giselle and Leif, it was his first game, and Carrie Abello, and they had great things to say about this game coming up. And so I want to do them justice and be able to repeat what they have said about this game and about the beautiful game. And also, we prepare. We want to give these players the coverage that they deserve. While then I realized watching it after, they do cut down and show me down there. And I did not know that. Also,
it's like hidden camera?
A little bit, yes. And obviously people take photos of you.
Right.
And also at halftime and post game, you're given a player, it's live, you're doing an interview. And in this situation, who had scored the goal, and that's the player you choose. It's one interview, one question usually, and you do a player who scored. Right. Because they want to go in the locker room and this only just started happening at the end of our career. So she didn't want to do it, or they didn't want to ask her. And so then they wanted to get another player who was already walking off, so we didn't get the interview. But you have to, it's live and it's all timed out. So then they just had to go to me to say something.
You had to fill.
This kind of stuff, it is very stressful, and it makes me feel so alive. So, yes.
That is true. That's why you love it. Because a lot of people, when I was playing and, asking about post playing, what are you going to do? And they would talk about broadcast. And I don't know if you ever got this piece of advice or this piece of information about after playing if you were to do broadcast. But a lot of people say it's the closest thing you can get to feeling like what we felt when we played, right? We're not running around, but it is this adrenaline rush, and the red light turns on or the mics are hot and it's go time, and you got to do your job and perform similar to playing. However, it's a lot less sweaty, although it is kind of still pretty sweaty at times.
Yeah, and you still wear your spandex shorts.
I do. Dude, when I have a skirt on, just being safe. You're right. I do still wear some of the gear that I did when I played, but it does. I agree with you. It is really difficult, but it is really exciting and such a rush. And similar to what you were saying, we both feel this way. I know, is that in covering the game, we want to cover it in a way that gives and does this game and these players justice, gives them the coverage that they deserve. And also we want to bring our expertise to the fans and the listeners and the watchers and everybody who is involved in being part of this women's sports and NWSL and women's soccer ecosystem. And a lot of people think that it's easy and it's just like, oh, well, you played, so you should. What could be so hard about that? You're just talking about soccer. And so, well, you have to learn how to pronounce people's names. You have to, there's so much
Someone's
information.
talking in your ear while you're talking.
Yes,
That's one of the hardest things.
Exactly. And it's live. So there's going to be moments where things don't go like you were saying. The player walks off, you have no interview, and it's like, you are now the interview, Allie, so you better come up with something good to say quickly. So I think that a lot of people watch it and like, I could do that. And it's like, maybe you could, but it is, I think, harder than people think it is. But it's also so much fun and such a thrill, and also really exciting to be able to be part of the game and continue to help grow it.
It is. And I don't think I gave enough credit to the people covering the game when I was a player. But Kel, I feel like one of the questions we get asked the most, and I'm wondering how you feel about when we have to critique a friend, a former teammate, someone we played against, someone we obviously respect, and how you approach that.
It's definitely not fun because you don't want to hurt anybody that you love and care about, right? But ultimately, the way I approach it is the same way that I approached it when I played. Like, I would have those honest conversations with my teammate. Yeah. And if there was something that needed to be better, it's not I'm shitting on you, for lack of a better word.
Yeah. Or I don't like you. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Or I don't like you. It's this was wrong, or this, needed to be done differently. And this is how you can change that or fix that or whatever. And I think that you have to give constructive criticism. I feel like I was good at that when I played. And I also liked receiving it because the reality is it's sports. You're not going to be perfect, and you're going to have bad days, and you're going to make mistakes. And that is just the game. So for me now in this new role, it's about balancing the critique with the, support and the just, lifting players up and talking about it's focusing on the good parts of the game, right? But you ultimately do need to give an honest
honesty,
yes. Exactly, of what's going on. And again, it's not like this player is a bad person. It's like that player made a mistake and this is why. So it's not fun, but it's, I think, to be good at that job and it's what you're asked to do is you do have to be critical at times, and that's just part of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And, Cal, you're one of the most convincing people on television. You are able to really sell me on. I mean, you flip-flopped your allegiance. You have jerseys from every player who got knocked out of Champions League.
I think it's because I can argue both sides of a lot of things. Like, I'm really good at that.
You are, and
people were like, you should have been a lawyer. Like,
it's not a lot of reading. It's not too late, but you argued against your own point on live television.
No, this is an example. You're okay.
I was very confused.
Honestly, that's the funniest part. And you know what, guys, give us some grace on, when it's live. We're trying our best here. But the thing is, I think that's why I enjoy part of why I enjoy it is because sometimes you make mistakes and it's like, I'll just laugh at myself. I'm like, that was ridiculous. Like, you did not say what you wanted to say. And like you make a bad pass in a game or a bad touch in a game, you make a bad take, or you say the wrong word or whatever. But yes, I did have a pretty big, or not pretty big, but there was a moment during Champions League coverage where I had this point in my head and I was like, I can't wait to say this. I think this is gonna be good. And then as I started to say it, I was like, I'm saying it wrong in the moment, but I can't fix it now. And Darian looked at me and she was kind of like, really? You think that? And I was like, well, yeah. Like, I gotta go with it. Anyway, we make mistakes, so we're only human.
And we're learning. And I think we're getting better
laugh
every time.
With us. Laugh
Please,
with us.
Laugh with us, laugh at us.
Yes,
but be kind.
Dude. Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's obviously our job now.
Right.
But another thing we are doing post our playing days is spending a lot more time with our family. And Kel, you surprised your Poppi and you just got back from Wimbledon.
Yes.
It was a very cute video.
It was such a fun weekend. My Poppi is the biggest tennis fan that I know. He taught me tennis when I was growing up. I obviously didn't play it in any sort of capacity. I think I went to like one tennis camp, my mom said, and she was like, "Do you want to keep playing?" I was like, "Not really," and just was over it. But anytime we would have, be with my Poppi and my Gma, we would go to the courts, we would hit a little bit, he'd give me some instruction. So that's who taught me tennis. And now I am a huge tennis fan.
You are.
Yeah, I really am. And I love to play. And so post playing, we now have more time on our hands. And I didn't know that my Poppi had never been to London. And I assumed he'd probably never been to Wimbledon. But when I found that out, I was like, okay. And so it really started with Cam being at Wimbledon last summer, and Poppi was just, he was so excited for her, and just she would text him pictures, and she got him gear, and she even bought him this white Wimbledon tennis shirt, right? You're supposed to play in, and he hasn't worn it because he's like, it's too nice. I don't want to get it dirty, and so he brought it with him on the trip. So basically, it's been many months in the works, and my team was able to get tickets for me through Barclays. They were generous enough to offer us two tickets to the women's final this weekend. And I called him a couple weeks ago because my parents were like, "You need to find out if his passport is."
Yeah, that was funny. It started
like,
very
if his passport isn't
logistical.
expired. And I was like, "Oh my God, you're so right." And like, what if he can't get his passport in time? Anyway, his passport was up to date, thank God. And called him. I surprised him.
Is your passport up to date?
Yeah.
Are you sure? Oh yeah, it expires 2031. Look at you. Your passport is up to date, which means you are going to Wimbledon.
Oh. No.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, I can't wait.
Yes, I can't wait either.
And we had talked about it before. I was like, "Would you want to go?" And he was like, "Oh my gosh, yes, if that's ever possible." And so yeah, I was able to make it. Was a dream come true for him, but it was also a dream come true for me. And it ended up being the most wonderful weekend. My sister and my brother-in-law were actually over there for a baby moon, so we got to hang out with them while we were over there. And Cameron was there for work, so it was the most fun weekend, and we got to make some memories that I will never forget, and I'm really thankful. And if I talk about it anymore, I'll probably start crying. So
I was close.
That's it. That's a wrap. But it was so special to be able to do that with him. So, and Wimbledon is like a dream. It is gorgeous. It is perfect. It was everything I could have imagined and more. And to be able to do that with my Poppi, we sat down in our seats, and he looked at me and he goes, "I never thought I'd be here." I'm gonna cry. We can't talk about it anymore, but it was so wonderful. It was so cute. But you have a family story, so you should talk about that.
Yeah, I probably should have gone first because I also tried to do something nice for my family.
Oh God, are you gonna cry? Or no, is it just funny?
No, it's funny. It all ended okay. I'm not sure if my dad's downstairs and can hear me, but so I got invited to go to the Men's World Cup quarterfinal here in LA,
Amazing.
the last Los Angeles game, Spain, Belgium, and I really wanted my family to be able to come as well. And who knows when my parents will be able to see another World Cup game live. So I bought them tickets, and my dad got heat stroke and had to go to the hospital.
Oh my God, Allie.
He's totally fine. So the happy ending is he did a lot of tests and even a brain scan, and he is the healthiest member of this family.
Oh my God, of course he is. Of course he is. He just can't handle the heat. It's fine.
He's from
New
handle
Zealand.
the heat, and it was really hot in there, and he was excited, had 2 hot dogs, and it was just too much. So it was a long day for JR and the rest of us. But
how quickly did you have to leave the game?
It was after, so he made it. He made it to the end,
and that's probably why.
And shout out to the Los Angeles Stadium medical professionals and the EMTs who came and took care of him. By the end of this ordeal, he was singing the national anthem, the U.S. national anthem. He was serenading all of the paramedics, and he feels like $1 million. He has the security now of knowing that he is as healthy as a horse. So the rest of us, the stress is slowly killing us, but
oh my gosh,
so I was really excited when we were going to share stories like this before I knew what was going to happen.
Before you actually took them. Oh my gosh.
He's fine. He's playing paddle tennis right now, I think so.
Okay. Oh wow. I'm glad he's okay.
Anyway,
that is scary but also hilarious, but it ended well, so we can say it's funny.
Yeah. So this is what happens when I don't talk to you for like 48 hours.
I know. I was like, what happened? You're like, I'll tell you on the pod. Oh my gosh. Holy smokes. Well, here's to making memories with our families and trying to not get heat stroke. Cheers. Cheers to that. I know I was concerned for my Poppi too. I was like, should we watch the trophy ceremony or get you back to the suite? And he was like, I think we should go back to the suite. And I was like, I think so too.
Yeah. Wish my dad had that kind of foresight. They're probably the same age. Anyways, let's talk about our favorite family, our fans in the wasteland.
Yes,
because we gotta make another bet before we wrap this up. So
yes,
Friday,
right.
Casey Current for San Diego Wave. This is a doozy.
This is a doozy.
8 p.m. Eastern on Prime. Kel?
Yes. Are you letting me take it?
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming you're not going to take
roll.
San Diego.
No.
You would never take San Diego, right? So I
prefer
feel
not
like
to.
I'm getting them. So you're
But-
riding
but-
again with Kansas City. You better put in a call about corner kicks.
Yeah, please listen
No, you
to
can
Professor
you can do
O'Hara.
that. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, I'm not calling them.
No. They all listen to this podcast, so.
Obviously. Oh, goodness. All right. Well, then Allison, what are we fighting for?
The bet consequence for this week is a fan weird food challenge. So, people send in your weird food combos.
Okay. I'll do
Okay, we have a food-related challenge that Kelly has
Weird food combos.
historically lost.
I've lost all the food-related challenges, so hopefully this is my first. Maybe I'll start to swing upwards, not lose this one.
We will be back next week with all the biggest news in women's soccer. I'm more open to the food, but let's see what happens. Go Casey Current. It still feels weird saying that, but Time Wasting is a Just Women's Sports podcast. Follow us at Time Wasting Pod. Thank you to our crew. Thank you to all of you for tuning in, joining us, engaging with us, subscribing. We will see you back in the wasteland next week.
Bye.